Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Brother Israel, right? Coming back at you with another little topic. All right, today we're going to be talking about UFOs, right? A lot of people call the different sightings they see UFOs because they're unidentified flying objects, right? But we call them IFOs because we can identify them. How do we do that? Through the scriptures, right? We're going to go in the scriptures and find out what these things are. Let's get Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9 first, right? Get a little foundation going, right? It says, Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9, the thing that hath been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath already been of old time, which was before us. And there is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those who shall come after, right? So all these things have been happening, right? These chariot sightings, from ancient times all the way till now, they have been seeing chariots, right? Which would be the UFOs, right? They've been seeing UFOs from the beginning to the end, right?
UFO sightings around the world have reached an all-time high. According to data from the National UFO Reporting Center, UFO sightings experienced a boom in the 1980s. Reported sightings went from less than 5,000 in 1980 to about 10,000 in 1990. But between 1990 and 2000, sightings rose by nearly 30,000. In those 10 years, more than 45,000 sightings were recorded, a record. And it appears the spike in UFO sightings was not an anomaly, but a trend. In an 8-year period from 2002 to 2009, more than 36,000 UFOs were reported. Since then, more than 11,000 more UFOs were reported, with more than 47,000 being cataloged since 2010. Statistician and PhD candidate Sam Montfort brought this information to light. With the collection of data from the reporting center, Montfort found that individuals are far more likely to spot a UFO in the US than anywhere else in the world. He reports that on average, there are 2,500 sightings reported per 10 million people. That's 300 times higher than the global median. Northwestern and northeastern states have filed the most reports citing per capita. Perhaps with 7 new known planets in the universe, we could experience even more close encounters in the future. For Fox News, I'm Rob Demetrius.
So let's go to Exodus chapter 13 and verse 21, right? Because the children of Israel, they were enslaved in Egypt, right? And when they were enslaved in Egypt, the Lord rescued them out of there, right? But he rescued them out of there in certain ways, right? And we're going to find out in the scriptures how he did that, right? Because you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you were enslaved in Egypt to the so-called Egyptians. To the Egyptians, I mean, right? Not the so-called, but a lot of people nowadays, they say that we are the Egyptians, right? We're not the Egyptians. The Egyptians were dark-skinned people, right? They look like us, but we are not the Egyptians, right? We are the children of Israel, right? The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, okay? So let's get Exodus chapter 13 and verse 21, all right? And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud, remember that word now, to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire, to give them light, to go by day and night. He took not away the pillar of cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people, right? The people are the children of Israel right here, right? So it's talking about clouds, man. So let's go see what a cloud is, all right? Psalms chapter 104 and verse 3, all right? Psalms chapter 104 and verse 3. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the water, who maketh the clouds his chariot, right? Who walketh upon the wings of the wind, right? So he make the clouds his chariots, right? Those are the chariots of the Most High. A lot of times you see in the scriptures where it talk about clouds, right? It's talking about the chariots, right? The Those are the vehicles that the angels ride in, right? Those are the vehicles that the angels ride in. And those would be your so-called UFOs, right? But as we go on and explain, as I go on and explain even more, you'll understand what I'm talking about, right? Right? How do we understand this? We go precept upon precept. Let's get that in Isaiah. I think it's Isaiah 28 and verse 9. Or I just do 10. Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 10. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. Right? So that's how you're supposed to read the scriptures. Here a little and there a little. That's how it unlocks the mysteries of heaven. I mean, of not heaven, but well, yeah, of heaven. Any kind of mystery in the scriptures is unlocked through the precepts, but you can only be given that understanding through the Most High God. But He is only going to give it to a certain people, right? And that's the Israelites, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Those are the only people who might be able to understand it. Not even all the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans will be able to understand. Okay, let's get Luke chapter 8 and verse 9, right? To show you about the mysteries, right? Show you the Bible is a big mystery book. Okay, Luke chapter 8 and verse 9. Right? Luke chapter 8 and verse 9. And his disciples asked him, saying, what might this parable be? And he said, unto you it is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of God, but to others in parables, that seeing they may not see, and hearing they may not understand. Right? So this Bible is not for everybody to understand. It's only meant for the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that are chosen by the Most High God, right? Those are the only people who can understand it, right? Let's show you even more that the scriptures is a mystery. Let's go to Colossians chapter 1 and verse 26. All right, because we got to prove all things in the scriptures. All right, Colossians chapter 1 and verse 26. Even the mystery which hath been hid from ages and from generations, but now it is made manifest to his saints. Right? So these mysteries have been hidden for ages and ages and ages and generations upon generations. But now these truths are coming back because the Lord has gave us the knowledge to understand these things. Right? You can read the Bible front to back like 9 times. I say that all the time. But you can read it front to back 9 times and not have an understanding of it. Right? You can go pay all this money at a college. You can go pay $20,000 at a college. Right? And read the Bible, go over it, study different maps and stuff. But you won't have a true understanding of the knowledge of the Most High God that He has given to us. Right? Let's get... Oh, matter of fact, I think it was more on that. Oh, yeah. Let me point that out. Colossians chapter 1 and verse 26. Even the mystery which hath been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to his saints. Right? So he's manifesting this to his saints. Right? Let's find out who the saints are. That's why we got to go precept upon precept. Right? Let's go to Psalms chapter 148 and verse 14. 148 and verse 14. Bear with me for a minute. All right. Psalms chapter 148 and verse 14. He also exalteth the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye the Lord. So the saints are the children of Israel. right? That's who the saints are. Let's get one more precept to prove that. Let's get Psalms chapter 50 and verse 5. Psalms chapter 50 and verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. So the only people who made a covenant with him by sacrifice were the children of Israel, who are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? So let's get Deuteronomy chapter 29 and verse 29. All right, what I'm showing you right now, who the saints are in the Bible, who the mysteries are given to, right? And it's only given to the children of Israel, and we've proven that through the scriptures, and not out of our own mouth, of our own words, right? Deuteronomy chapter 29 and verse 29. The secret things belong unto the Lord our God, but those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. Right? It's talking about the children of Israel. Let's prove that. So this is Deuteronomy 29 and 29. Let's go to Deuteronomy 29 and verse 1 to get the context of who the Most High is talking about. Right? These are the words of the covenant. This is Deuteronomy chapter 29 and verse 1. These are the words of the covenant which Moses, I apologize. Deuteronomy chapter 29 and verse 1. These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, besides the covenant which he made with them in Horeb. Right? So basically what I'm just showing you right here is the covenant that he made with the children of Israel. Right? That's who it's talking about. So the secret wisdom, the knowledge, right? The oracles of God, right? All the promises, all these things could be proven with the scriptures. But I'm just giving you like a little, I'm scratching the surface right now, right? But all the mysteries and secrets are given to the children of Israel, and it's not given to nobody else. All right, let's get back to the chariots, right? Let's get Acts chapter 1 and verse 9. Right, Acts chapter 1 and verse 9. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. It's talking about those chariots. One of those UFOs, it's talking about Christ right here. Right, one of those, what we call now UFOs, received Christ out of everybody's sight. Right, and it says, and he had spoken these things while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. Verse 10, and while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel. All right, so there were people to witness this, this great wonder, right? This great mystery. All right, it was people that witnessed the most, Christ going up into those chariots. All right, let's get Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 4. Because these chariots are what's going to come back and save us from this captivity in Babylon the Great, and what we call now America. All right, the daughter of Babylon. Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 4. And I looked up, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud. Right? So this was a great cloud, a great, like a big UFO. A great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and the brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof the color of amber. Right? So the color of amber is like a brownish color, right? Out of the midst of it, of the fire, right? So there was something in the middle of it, right? And it looked like the color of amber, so it was brown. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. Right? These are the angels that are coming out of the chariots. So right now, they're coming out, and it's about to explain it. It says, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. So they had the likeness of a man, meaning they had arms, they had legs, right? And every one had 4 faces, and every one had 4 wings. And their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass, right? So they had brown looking feet, right? So the angels are dark-skinned men, right? That's what it's going into.
Okay, but if there are craft, there are beings.
Okay, people have asked me about, I call them vehicles, okay?
Right.
Now, I did not call them objects. That was too neuter for me.
Okay.
I had a Stanford professor say you ought to call them objects. No, I'm saying no. They have all of the qualities of a vehicle. They can move. You know, they're just like a missile or anything like that. So that much we can say about them, for sure.
Okay.
So I'm calling it a vehicle.
Okay.
Okay, somebody comes along and says, well, now where would you manufacture one that's 2.5 Earth lengths long? And that's a hard question to answer.
So are you not positing the idea that those vehicles contain, beings who are, maybe like us?
Yeah, I only go along with government images. And if you want to know about people kind of thing, there is the ship that picked up the Voyager capsule at Alameda Naval Shipyard, and they have a picture there of I think it's the Apollo flight that Buzz and Neil were on. But anyway, there is one image there that shows black people getting off.
So people with dark skin getting off.
Not dark, black.
Black skin.
Really black. Yeah.
Were they tall?
Yes.
Very tall?
Yeah.
How tall? Do you know?
Well, they got out the doorway. I don't know how high that is, but
Well, what?
they say 7 feet would be probably a conservative estimate.
Have you heard about Clark McClellan's statement about that?
No,
Oh, you haven't?
no,
Have you ever been in touch with him?
no.
No?
There is one image there that shows black people getting off.
So people with dark skin getting off.
Not dark, black.
Black skin.
Really black. Yeah.
Were they tall?
Yes.
Very tall?
Yeah.
How tall? Do you know?
Well, they got out the doorway. I don't know how high that is, but
Well, what?
they say 7 feet would be probably a conservative.
Right. Let's prove that. Let's see who else was like burnished brass. All right. All right. Let's go to Revelation chapter 1 and verse 14. Right. It says, it's talking about Christ. His head and his hairs were white like wool. So he had white woolly hair, right? As white as snow. And his eyes were as a flame of fire. And his feet, right? It's talking about his feet, right? If you look at the top of your feet, right? The top of your feet is the same color as your legs, same color as your stomach, the same color as your face, right? And his feet like unto fine brass. There's brass again. We're talking about brown, right? His feet were brown, but not only that, as if they burned in a furnace. So he was a very dark-skinned man, right? Christ was a very dark-skinned man. And his voice as the sound of many waters. So he had a very deep voice.
I'm talking today to women who say they have been abducted by aliens from another planet. And you're going to describe to us what they look like now.
May I briefly say, I don't know for a fact that they're from another planet. I assume so, but I am dealing with a lot of unknowns. I don't know where they come from. I just can describe what I saw. I don't have the answers.
Well, you know you weren't in Kansas anymore, Toto.
And I wasn't wearing red shoes that I could click together.
Okay, so, and they look like?
They're humanoid as far as the body, very small frames, about 3.5 to 4 feet tall. And I found myself laughing to myself when I saw them because I just saw one being actually. Because the skin was very, very dark olive green, so dark it could be mistaken for black. And I even laughed to myself.
All right! All right!
No. I laughed to myself
We're
because...
in control in outer space! All right.
I laughed to myself.
You know I believe you, girl. You know I believe you.
Let's get Zechariah. Chapter 5 and verse 1. All right, we're still talking about the chariots. I'm just giving examples about the chariots. All throughout the scriptures, you'll see examples of chariots, right? You hear it talk about clouds, right? You hear it talk about the prophets that describe it like different flying objects. You know what I'm saying? But this is an example right here. Zechariah chapter 5 and verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. So Zechariah right now, he's talking about he saw a flying roll, right? Think about what a roll looks like, right? It looks what they depict a chariot looking at like now, right? The little flying saucer, it almost is in like the shape of a roll. You know what I mean? And he said, verse 2, and he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. He said it twice. He's like, no, I see a flying roll. He said, what do you see? I see a flying roll, man. You know, that's what he's talking about. And the length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. It even explain the size of the chariot. All right, let's go to Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 16. Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 16. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of beryl, and they had I apologize, let me read that over. Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 16. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl. Right, that's green, like a greenish type color. And they had four had one likeness, and the appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. So they're showing you what the chariots look like. It looked like a wheel in the middle of a wheel, right? When you look at the chariots now, what they depict the chariot as, you see they look like a flying saucer, and in the middle it has another small circle. So a wheel within a wheel, right? And if you want to keep reading Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 16, and you read on down a little bit, it'll explain even more about how they move and different things of that nature. All right. But I'm not going to get too deep into that. I'm going to get Luke chapter 21 and verse 5. All right, this is Luke. Luke chapter 21 and verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's heart failing for them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. So it said the Son of Man gonna be coming in a cloud. Right? That's talking about those chariots. Christ is coming back in those chariots with the angels. Right? That's what that's going into. And verse 28, it says, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Right? So that's how we're going to be saved from a Babylon the Great. Right? That's how you're going to be saved from your captivities. Right? That's how you're going to be saved from the thermonuclear missiles that are coming for America. That's in the scriptures too. Right? But that's another little topic. I did a class on World War III in the Bible. Right? You should be able to find that on our page. But that's where you're going to be saved from. Right? And you're going to be saved in the chariots. I'm going to get one more scripture, and I'm going to end it off. So I didn't really get too deep, into explaining, but I'm just giving you little base scriptures, right? So you can go and look these things up yourself. Because a lot of us haven't even heard about the UFOs, all right? We haven't heard about the chariots. We don't even know what they are, right? According to the world, but we know what they are according to the Bible, right? Habakkuk chapter 3 and verse 16. When I heard, my belly trembled, my lips quivered at the voice. Rottenness entered into my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in the day of trouble. When he cometh up, it's talking about Christ, unto the people, he will invade them with his troops. Right? All the time you hear people talking about alien invasions, right? And what if flying saucers came? And what if the aliens came here? That's what it's going to look like in the end times. The scripture's been talking about this the whole time. Right? What do you think they're getting all this alien invasion type stuff from? All these different movies and stuff. It's coming from the scriptures. Right? And Christ is coming back with the chariots and with his angels, right, to execute vengeance on these nations because of how they did us. And we are the children of God. All right? He coming back to get them for what they've done to us. Right? When you look into the scriptures, you'll find that out. But that's all I wanted to bring out for today. Those are the UFOs in the Bibles. I encourage you to look it up for yourself. Right? Anything I bring out, right, is for you to go back and look it up yourself. Right? Because you would be a damn fool to hear everything I said and not go look it up. Right? You'd be a fool to believe everything I said and not go back in the scriptures and read about it for yourself. Right? So that's what we got to start doing. We got to start opening up the book and reading, right? Because these other nations, they don't want us to read. All right? That's one of the first things they taught us, right? First things they took away from us when we came over here as slaves. They took away reading and writing. They didn't want you to read the Bible and see who you were according to the Bible, because that is your strength, right? So with that, I'm going to end the class and I say shalom.